So we've met the growers, the dynasties, and the widow with a power tool. But in Champagne, it's not just who makes the wine, it's where the grapes grew up. Because here, even vineyards have status, and not all postal codes are created equal. Let's talk about Champagne's version of social hierarchy. In Burgundy, Grand Cru means specific vineyard plot. In Bordeaux, it's a chateau classification tied to reputation. But in Champagne, it's a little different and a lot more misunderstood. So let's uncork it. It starts with the land. Champagne is divided into 17 subdivisions and 319 villages called communes. But not all villages are created equal. Back in 1911, the Champagne industry devised a rating system. Think of it as a pay scale for grapes. Each village has graded on a percentage scale. 100% Grand Cru, 19 to 99 Premier Crus, 80 to 89 Autre Cru, or simply Cru. But here's the twist. This classification was originally about price, not prestige. Growers in top-rated villages were guaranteed 100% of the grape price set by the Champagne syndicate that year. A Premier Crus village got 95%, and so on. It was economics first, glamour later. Grand Cru villages, Champagne's crown jewels. Only 17 villages earned the coveted 100% mark, and they still wear that crown today. Some iconic names you'll see on the label: the spiritual home of Pinot Noir, dense with red fruit power. Avis and Le Mesnil-sur-Oger, pillars of chalky structured Chardonnay. Boozy, yes, that's really the name. And it's famous for generous, sun-kissed Pinot. If a Champagne says Grand Cru on the label, it means 100% of the grapes come from one or more of these elite villages. Premier Crus, the silent overachievers. There are 42 Premier Crus villages, often just one limestone ridge or hillside away from Grand Cru, but with far less fanfare. Places like Cumier, Tourget, Vertus can produce grapes just as nuanced as sometimes even more expensive due to their microclimate or winemaking style. But since they fall shy of 100% mark, they wear the Premier sash instead of the crown. Here's fun fact. Some top producers like Cook don't even label their wines Grand Cru, even though they use Grand Cru fruit. Why? Because for them, the blend matters more than the brag. But what's really in the bottle? Cru classification tells us where the grapes come from, but not what the grapes are. Let's break that down. The grapes of Champagne, only 3 are the household names. Chardonnay, the only white grape prized for its acidity, tension, and age-worthiness. You'll find it leading in places like Côte de Blanc. Pinot Noir adds body, red fruit, and backbone. Grows best in Montagne d'Orance and Aube. Pinot Meunier or Meunier, the underdog, bringing softness, approachability, and early drinking charm. Often found in Vallée de la Marne. But did you know there are actually 7 grapes permitted in Champagne? The lesser known: Habane, Petit Meunier, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris. These are rare varieties, make up less than 0.3% of plantings, but they're having a quiet renaissance. Grower producers are reintroducing them for their unique flavor profiles and natural adaptability in a warming climate. Think floral lift, crisp green apple, or spicy citrus zing. Notes that make a blend sing in unexpected way. So, what should you look for as a curious palate? If a label says Grand Cru, Blanc de Blanc, expect laser-focused Chardonnay from chalk-rich villages like avis, or auger. Think minerality and age potential. Grand Cru Blanc de Noir, 100% of Pinot Noir from places like I or Bouzy. Expect texture, red berries, and depth. Premier Crus Gros Champagne, a gem in disguise, often better value with more personality and made by hands that grew the fruit. The bottom line, Cru status gives you clues about origin, not a promise of greatness. Great wines can come from humble villages, and mediocre ones can wear the crown of Grand Cru if they're not handled with care. But if you're sipping a champagne that proudly states its village and even dares to name the plot, it's probably telling you something deeper. This wine wasn't just grown, it was chosen. And in champagne, that makes all the difference. By the time those Grand and Premier Cru vines are ready to yield their treasure, the pressure is on, literally and figuratively. Champagne's climate isn't exactly gentle. It's cold, continental, and sits at the northern limit where the grapes can ripen. That means the harvest window is narrow, unpredictable, and often nerve-wracking. One surprise frost or autumn rain and months of careful tending can turn to rot. So when the grapes are ready, you move fast, but not recklessly. Hand harvest only, by law in Champagne. Machine harvesting is forbidden, period. Every cluster must be picked by hand. Why? Because the precious juice inside each grape has to remain as clear, as pure as possible. Remember, most champagne is white even when it's made from black skin grapes like Pinot Noir and Meunier. That means no crushing, no breaking skin, no pigment leaking into the juice. Hands are gentler than machines. They respect the grape. Once picked, grapes are rushed to the press house, not stumped, not squished, but pressed with extraordinary care. The goal? Extract the juice, not the color or bitterness hiding in the skins, seeds, or stems. Pressing must be gentle, often done in traditional cocar press, wide and shallow baskets that allowed for even pressure without trauma. The juice is collected in fractions, cuvée, the first most delicate pressing. This becomes the heart of Champagne. Tiers, the second pressing, still usable but often lower in acid and finesse. And time matters. The longer the juice sits with the skins, the higher the chance of unwanted color or harsh phenolics. That's why most houses begin pressing within hours of harvest. In some Grand Cru villages, the press house is just steps away from the vines. That's no accident. The result, a juice that's barely golden, high in acidity, and brimming with potential, ready to be transformed step by meticulous step into something effervescent and endearing. So yes, Champagne is glamorous, but it's also sweat, speed, and skill under pressure. Because when you're harvesting in a region this far north, with grapes this skinned and fragile, there is no margin for error, only precision and patience. Champagne may feel like celebration in a glass, but behind the sparkle is one of the most tightly controlled winemaking process on earth. Since 1927, the Champagne region has operated under AOC, a set of rules so detailed and fiercely protected, it's less like a winemaking guide and more like a constitution. It ensures that what ends up in your glass is not just sparkling wine, it's champagne, born of the region's chalky soil, cold climate, and human precision. At the heart of this law lies one method only, the traditional method, or, as they say in Epernay and Reims, méthode de champenoise. Let's uncork it step by step, no snobbery required. Champagne starts out as still wine. It's lean, tart, sometimes downright sharp, not meant to be sipped and savored, but to be transformed. It's made primarily from 3 grapes: Chardonnay for citrus, minerality, and lift; Pinot Noir for structure and depth; Meunier for softness and fruit. Each harvested and vinified separately, and often from multiple villages and even multiple years. Why? Because the magic of Champagne isn't a single harvest, it's the blend. Still wine becomes base wine, and base wine becomes a blank canvas. There's one crucial choice that defines the texture and tone of what's to come: malolactic fermentation, or MLF. But don't let the word fermentation confuse you. It's not the yeast-driven sugar to alcohol dance. This is a bacterial conversion where tart malic acid, think green apple, transforms into softer, rounder lactic acid like yogurt or cream. The result, a creamier mouthfeel and mellowed acidity that can bring buttery notes, especially in Chardonnay-heavy blends. Winemakers can approach MLF in 2 ways. Introduce MLF as selected strain of lactic acid bacteria is added under controlled conditions. It's efficient, predictable, and widely used. Spontaneous MLF, a slower, riskier route where native bacteria are left to do the job. This is the domain of low-intervention winemakers and grower producers who believe in letting terroir speak, even when it whispers unpredictability. On a chemical level, malic acid becomes lactic acid and CO2. On a sensory level, it is where the wine shifts from sharp to round, racy to plush. But here's the twist: not every house does it. Some maisons like Krug or Boulanger embrace MLF to create rich, layered champagne full of toast, nuts, and opulence. Others, like Lanson, skip it entirely, preserving the wine's natural acid bite. The result? Champagne with electric precision, where citrus and chalk take center stage. No softness, no compromise, just purity and tension that dances on the palate. So next time you taste a champagne that zings instead of melts, that wasn't a flaw. That was philosophy. Once the final assemblage is decided, a precise mix of yeast and sugar is added, and the wine is bottled under the crown cap, not a cork. That sturdy little cap seals the bottle through its second fermentation, long before the iconic cork and wire cage ever make an appearance. Then the transformation begins. The yeast consumes the sugar inside the sealed bottle, triggering a second fermentation. Not just more alcohol, but carbon dioxide. With nowhere to escape, the CO2 dissolves into the wine. That's how champagne gets its bubbles. From a biological storm in a silent, sealed bottle. Once fermentation ends, the yeast dies and becomes lees, spent cells that settle in the bottle. But don't mistake spent for useless. The lees are alchemy. By law, non-vintage champagne must rest 15 months, of which at least 12 months must be on lees. Vintage for 36 months, though many houses age far longer. During this time, the wine undergoes autolysis, a slow breakdown of the yeast cells that infuses richness, texture, and flavor. This is where you get those layers of brioche, almond, toasted hazelnut, honeycomb, and baked apple. It's not aging, it's infusion. The wine sleeps in its own silence and memory. But with all this magic comes a side effect: sediment. To remove it without losing the precious bubbles, bottles are placed at the angle and gently turned by hand or gyro pallet. Every day for weeks, coaxing the lees into the neck. This is riddling or rim wash. Who do we thank it for? Madame Clicquot. Once the sediment has settled in the neck, the bottles are inverted and the tip flash frozen. A teeny ice plug forms, trapping the lees. Then, with a swift pop, the pressure ejects the plug and the wine stays sparkling and clear. It's efficient, precise, and a little dramatic. It's disgorgement and the final act of letting go. There is now a small space in the bottle. Time for a signature move. The winemaker adds a dosage, a blend of wine and sugar, to pop up the bottle and define its final style. Brut nature, no added sugar. Extra brut, brut, extra dry, sec, demi-sec in increasing levels of sweetness. But dosage is more than sweetness, it's balance, it's personality. Some houses add age to reserve wines, adding richness and continuity. Others keep it minimal for razor-sharp transparency. In today's champagne scene, many producers even list the dosage level on the label, a quiet act of honesty in an industry built on secrets and blends. So now you know the rules, the rituals, the riddles, literally. But how do all those bottles look so different, taste so different, feel so different? Welcome to the final flourish in Champagne story, style. Because Champagne isn't one singular experience, it's a spectrum. A language of lightness, texture, and tone. And understanding these styles will help you read the bottle before you even pop the cork. Let's decode the most important categories: Brut, Extra Brut, and Brut Nature, the dry spectrum. This isn't about grape type, it's about dosage. How much sugar was added after disgorgement? Brut Nature, no sugar added, raw, racy, and bone dry. The wine stands fully exposed, naked, pure, and sharp as flint. Extra Brut, still very dry, but with just enough sugar to soften the edges, zesty and austere. Brut, the gold standard, dry but balanced. Most non-vintage champagnes fall here, crisp, clean, and food-friendly. Despite the word brut meaning raw, this is the most common and approachable champagne style. It's like dry with diplomacy. Extra dry, sec, demi-sec, the sweetest side. Yes, extra dry is actually sweeter than brut because champagne loves contradictions. Extra dry, slightly off dry, great with salty appetizers or spicy food. Sec, noticeably sweet. Demi-sec, dessert champagne, but also magical with creamy cheeses or fruit tarts. Sweet champagnes had their heyday in the 19th century. Russian aristocrats loved them, sugar-rich. Today, dry reigns, but sweeter styles are making a quiet comeback among pastry pairings and brunch tables. Rosé champagne isn't just pink, it's rebellious. While most rosé wines are made with skin contact, rosé champagne is one of the only wines in France allowed to be made by blending red wine into white. Seriously, winemakers either use the Scieny method, short maceration of red grapes before pressing, or blend a touch of still Pinot Noir or Meunier into the finished base wine. The result? Bubbles with attitude. Expect notes of wild strawberries, raspberry, blood orange, and rose petals, wrapped in fine mousse and kiss of structure. And don't let the color fool you. Good rosé champagne can age like a red wine and pair like a dream. Think duck, grilled tuna, or even steak tartare. It's not cute, it's confident. Blanc de Blanc, the pure Chardonnay expression, literally, white from whites. Blanc de Blanc is made entirely from Chardonnay grapes, usually from the Côte de Blanc. Is the clearest expression of finesse Champagne can offer. Lemon peel, chalk, white flowers, crisp apple, seashell salinity. Blanc de Blanc often feels weightless but precise, like silk cut with razor. Many are aged longer to round out their acid, making them perfect for oysters, caviar, or simply a golden hour and a silence. Blanc de Noir, white wine from red grapes. The opposite of Blanc de Blanc, Blanc de Noir is made from Pinot Noir and or Meunier, but without skin contact, so the color stays pale. These wines are broader, rounder, more textural, with notes of yellow plum, baked pear, toasted brioche, forest floor. They're powerful, comforting winter champagne, the kind you pour when you want weight and warmth, not just sparkle. Vintage, millésime versus non-vintage, Saint-Genet. Non-vintage, Saint-Genet NV, the house blend made from multiple years, aiming for consistent flavor and signature style. They're the workhorses for everyday icons. Vintage, millésime, made only in exceptional years from a single harvest, aged at least 3 years, often much longer. These are layered, serious, and age-worthy. Vintage champagnes tell a story of a year, the weather, the soil, the hand of the winemaker. It's not a wine, it's a moment bottled. In short, choose your adventure. Champagne isn't a drink, it's a palate and a palate cleanser. A spectrum of styles that can whisper, shout, seduce, or soothe, depending on the blend, the dosage, and grape in play. So next time you pick a bottle, don't just go by the name. Check the style, feel the mood, and sip accordingly. When brightness and chalk, go Blanc de Blanc. Craving comfort and richness? Try Blanc de Noir. Date night? Rosé never misses. Minimalist? Seek out Brut Nature. Celebrating? Well, honestly, any of them. Because champagne doesn't just sparkle, it adapts. You followed the story from grape to glass. You've learned the soil, the science, the soul. Now, you're holding the bottle, the cork is off, the pour, perfect. And instinctively, you swirl. Stop. Because while swirling may be a second nature to still wines, drawing out that oxygen-sensitive aromas and coaxing them open, champagne plays by different rules. This is not a wine that needs convincing. It's a wine that's been waiting. Champagne isn't just about taste. It's about texture. And that texture lives in the mousse. Those tiny fine bubbles that give champagne its elegance and lift. When you swirl, you break the surface tension and release the CO2 too quickly. The mousse disappears, the wine flatters, and with it goes everything you paid for. The finesse, the freshness, the delicate bouquet of the citrus, chalk, brioche, and white blossom. You do not enhance the experience. You deflate it. Unlike bold red or young white, champagne has already done the work. It's aged, it's integrated, it's ready to perform. Swirling, that's a crime against sparkle. It's champagne's version of a bad breakup, flat and disappointing. It doesn't need your help, it needs your attention. What to do instead? Tilt the glass, admire the bead, those beautiful bubbles raising like a string of pearls. Nose it gently. Let the aromas ride up with the bubbles as nature intended. Sip slowly and let the temperature, time, and tension reveal the rest. Because good champagne evolves in the glass, not by agitation, but by a quiet bloom. Swirling still wine, that's poetry. Swirling champagne, that's a bubble homicide. Let the bubbles rise, let them sing. They've waited years in the dark for their spotlight. Don't hit mute on their big debut. And with that, we cork this journey. I'm Julia, and this was Sip Me Maybe, the podcast where every glass has a story and no sip goes unnoticed. Sip wisely, and I'll see you the next pour.